Hi, I'm Melissa, and this is the Book Break. And today I'm super excited to introduce to you Julie Murphy, who has a great book that's coming from Disney. So we're going to bring her right in. Come on in, Julie.
Hi, Melissa. Thanks for having me.
Hello. So I just finished reading your book, and we're going to go ahead and just pull up a picture of it right now. And I absolutely loved it. So If the Shoe Fits, a meant to be novel. Julie, tell us more about your book.
Sure. So, If the Shoe Fits is the first in a new series from Disney, the Meant to Be series. And each of these books is going to reimagine one of Disney's classic princesses. And they'll sort of be reimagined in like a rom-com setting for adults. Each book will be told by a different author. And I had the opportunity of kicking off the series with If the Shoe Fits. If the Shoe Fits follows Cindy, which is very obviously a nod to Cinderella. And in If the Shoe Fits, Cindy is a young plus-size woman. She is a recent fashion school graduate. She's kind of floundering after graduation, not really sure what to do with her life. And she finds herself as a contestant on a reality television dating show. She sort of turns into a body positive icon overnight and also might end up meeting her own Prince Charming.
Yeah, I just loved this book so much. And so I will say that really anyone can enjoy it. So I know that technically it's for an adult general audience, but if you have teenage girls that love this kind of rom-com situation, they're going to love this book. So it's clean for parents if you're worried about that. But it's just super fun. And I love what you did with Cindy's character. I mean, I've watched The Bachelor. Now I'll say this is different, people, in case you're thinking, oh, it's The Bachelor. Like, it has some similarities, but something special about it is her stepmom, Lady Tremaine, or Erica, is the executive producer of the show, right?
Yeah. So Erica is the producer of the show, and we really wanted to do something special with this stepmother role. She's not quite as mean and awful as you remember her from the original. We really wanted to do a more modern take. So Cindy's life is that of someone who came from a blended family, and it's complicated, it's complex. She's lost both of her birth parents, so yeah. That's Erica. She's definitely a little different than what you might expect from a Cinderella retelling.
Yeah, and I personally loved the fact that it was on the positive side. I mean, I loved that her sisters, Anna and Drew, who were from Anastasia and Drizella for our Cinderella fans, they were really cool stepsisters.
Yeah, they were. They're two older stepsisters to Cindy, and we really wanted to do something where there were some characteristics from each of these various characters, like from the original characters, whether it was Lady Tremaine or Anastasia or Drizella, and we wanted for those characters to still feel reminiscent of the original while being, modern and relatable. And there's still something like funny and ditzy to both of them, which I think is actually my favorite part of the original stepsisters. But they're definitely a little different, a little kinder. And I think it gives you a little more substance to work with for like a full-length adult novel.
Yeah, definitely. And some new characters you brought in with this are the triplets. Tell us about them.
Yeah, the triplets are a stand-in for the little mice because I don't think that there are many sane women who have three little mice following them around in 2021. So the triplets are a stand-in for that, and they're Cindy's step siblings who are younger. And it was a fun chance to have like Gus Gus, and Gus Gus is probably my favorite part about Cinderella, to be honest.
Yes. Yeah.
So just like there's just some really heartwarming moments with them. So
yeah, I agree. And another thing, like, there's so much to love about this book. So I keep saying another thing I loved, but because there's so much to love. So I really loved the character Cindy. Like, I mean, I already like the character Cinderella, but I think what you did with her character in this book just makes me want to go and give her a hug, because she does such a great job in standing up for herself. And I think so many women struggle with that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I remember, oh my goodness, one of my favorite moments was at the beginning when she's starting out this reality dating show, and one of the girls, one of the other contestants who we don't like, at least I didn't like her, comes to her. She's like, "Oh, you're so brave," and she was just, "I'm brave? What? Because I put on a dress? Because you know, like." Because I got dressed this morning, and I was
Because
like,
I had the will
"Yeah,
to
girl,
live.
that's
Yeah.
right."
Yeah. Yeah, I think that like the iconic things about Cinderella are that she's brave and kind. And I think that those are the big takeaways. And so I just had, you know, the wonderful opportunity of building a character on those two things, on those two legs. But for it to be something that, like, I don't know, anytime someone ever talks about doing a retelling or rehashing something that's already been done, I think to myself, like, does it need to be done? What makes this a necessity? And for me, what made this a need and what made this exciting was making, you know, Cindy plus size, and for her that to change her experience as she navigated through the world and how people perceive her. But it also would lend itself to a lot of other things. Like, she's got this great biting sense of humor. She's really clever. She's very smart. So there's a lot of things there that I think make her more modern and relatable to, you know, a modern audience. At least I think so.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think her sense of self that's so strong is something that any woman can achieve for, because I think that no matter somebody's situation, at some point all of us get a little insecure,
Yeah.
and her strength was just inspiring for anyone. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I will say I like the twist that you did at the end, and it wasn't what I was expecting. So now y'all have to go read the book so you can see what the twist is.
Thank you. Thank you. I won't acknowledge it too much so that I don't get any other spoilers. But I do think that there were a lot of great moments to take some iconic Cinderella moments and flip them on their head. I mean, the cover itself really speaks for itself with, you know, Prince Charming or Henry's missing shoe. So there were a lot of fun moments to do things like that.
Yeah, definitely. And then I want to make sure that we mention before we go your other books, because this is not your first book, and you have often written for a young adult audience, and you even have some books that have been turned into shows on Netflix.
Yeah. So let's see. I've got the Dumplin series, which is probably what I'm most well known for. Dumplin was adapted into a film on Netflix, and it is a you know, a plus size girl out in West Texas who wants to sort of take over her mother's beauty pageant. So there's that. And, you know, I wrote Dear Sweet Pea, which is a middle grade novelization, and I'm really excited to be working on a made for TV movie with the Disney Channel on that right now. So we're working on the script for that. And then I've got a series about a plus size hero. Like, I've really had an exciting chance to diversify my books, and I've had a lot of readers follow me there as well. So the second in that plus size hero book series will be out in November of this year.
Awesome. And I've really come to, I mean, I don't know how I hadn't read your books previously, but now that I've read If the Shoe Fits, I'm like, what else is by Julie Murphy? I love them.
Well, that's really exciting to hear. Thank you.
You bet. And now for our viewers that for some reason haven't read your books yet, tell us where can we find you? Where are you on social media or websites? Where can we find more?
So you can find me on my website at imjuliemurphy.com. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter as And I'm Julie. I also have a link tree under And I'm Julie, so linktree.com/linktree. And then I'm also on Facebook, but not as frequently, as Julie Murphy Writes.
Awesome. And now, okay, I'm going to ask you a hard one. I should have warned you in advance.
Oh, I'm
Of
ready.
all
I'm ready.
the books that you've written so far, what's your favorite?
Oh gosh. This is really hard. For a long time, my absolute favorite was Ramona Blue because it was such a difficult book for me to write, and I really had to address a lot of my own personal demons. But then later this year it changed to Pumpkin, which was the last book in the Dumpling series. But I will be totally honest and say that I think If the Shoe Fits is taking the cake right now. This was just such like a feel good, breezy book to write. Not every book comes easy, and I hesitate to say this was easy, but this was definitely the one that, I felt like I was, writing my favorite book as I got to write it, which was exciting.
Yeah. Well, I love it too, and I know our viewers are going to love it. So thank you so much for being here with us today, Julie.
Thank you.
And our viewers, check in with us again next week, and we'll see you next time.